Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Unlocking Lore, the storytelling podcast in which I, your host, Maria, tells you amazing stories each and every Thursday. Well, not each and every Thursday now, I had a little sort of vacation without meaning to. So, good evening. Hello. I just want to say hi to my good friend Sam, who's always there. Hope you're enjoying your tea. I think you're ready. Then we also have the amazing Scarab Scuttlebutt podcast. Thank you so much, Ro, for coming. I know you enjoy listening to podcasts each time, so I'm really happy you're here. I really hope that you enjoy your the story tonight. It's going to be very special. And let's see here. Who else do we have? We have the Mrs. We have the Mrs. R2. I hope R2 is there also, starting to enjoy his holiday. As you can see, I had to change ambience. I had to change because I have a full house right now, and Wi-Fi is really scarce. I was in my room. Actually, I was going to transmit from there, but unfortunately, I was looking at the camera and the little Wi-Fi little thingies were dropping down. I was like, uh-oh, this is a good story. I need good Wi-Fi. So I decided to go to my garden. So I'm actually outside. I just hope I'm not eaten alive by the mosquitoes somewhere. So, and we have the Dunadan from Florida. Thank you so much for coming in here. Yes, hit that thumbs up. You guys know that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet. This is a pure storytelling channel, which is what I do for a living. I do not make a living from it yet, but I do this for a living. Stories are my passion, as a lot of you may have noticed. And if you guys haven't seen the title of this specific podcast, you can check that out. We are in episode 27. Episode 27 of the Unlocking Lore podcast, the Unlocking Lore Live. I have actually today, I took the time to count how many live streams I've been doing since I started this podcast or this live stream. And amazingly enough, we have gone through 27. And that's even more than, I've told, in one of this podcasts, I've told one or two stories. So we are over 30 stories up to now, and we still have some more to go. Don't worry. The well of wisdom is deep. I will not run out of stories. And if I do, I will close down the season and prepare for a new season, because there are so many things out there that we can learn, and I can research and just give it out to the world. So yeah, you're back from the capital. Yes, I am, Sam. I am back from the capital. I was visiting. Not only visiting my parents, I took the opportunity to visit my parents back at the capital. I had to go for work to a workshop. Sorry. This past weekend, which is why I didn't transmit Unlocking Lore. But I was on an amazing stream last Tuesday, it was so good. Dreaming Tabitha. I had so much fun talking about villains. Amazing stuff. Oh man, it was just so much fun. It was a ladies' night, and we were talking, just about our, what we love about villains. The villains that we love to hate, and we hate to love, and then honorary mentions, which wasn't honorary trash. No. Yes, we had a blast. It was so amazing. I really do hope that we do this again. But as a lot of you know, well, at least Dan and Tabitha knows, Tuesdays for me are really, really bad. I've had to move Earth, Sea, and Sky to be on this podcast, on this live stream this past Tuesday, and I do not regret it one little bit. It was amazing. It was so amazing. And to be with Angela Clark, an amazing voice actress. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. it was just a lot of fun. Maybe too much fun. Yeah. Well, we had to kick out Dan at the beginning. You guys weren't there. We were behind the screens. We had to kick out Dan. So I think he wanted to stay on, Tabitha. I think we were just like engaging and we were talking between each other. And he was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to stay here, and just, kind of, listen to you guys and then, have fun with you guys. And then Tabitha said, no, you can go out now. You can go out. This is girls' night. It could be, yeah. Oh, I feel no pain for Dan. No pain whatsoever. So, yeah, I think he was fine. But we did have a wonderful time. If you go check out the guys inside the booth. I am not wearing their hoodie tonight because it is. I wanted to do like a nice ambience thing, since I was going to be in the garden, so I dressed up for the occasion. So. No boys allowed. I would like to say hello before we start the story per se to Phil. Hi, Phil. Thank you so much for coming. I know you drop in and out on different streams, and it's so wonderful to see you here. And just a quick question to Mrs. To the Mrs. R2. Am I on the big screen? I really like to be on TV, and I know that. I know that in your house, there's a very big chance that I am on the big screen. So if I am, tell me how I look. They say that if you're on screen or TV, you gain weight. But I just wanted to make sure if I look good. But anyway, well, Phil definitely says that I look great. Thank you very much. Tonight we have a very, very special story. This story is part of the Japanese culture. I ran into this story while I was teaching drama at the previous school where I was working. And I was actually doing shadow puppetry with the kids. Oh, thank you, Mrs. R2. I just want to, okay, thank you. And I was looking at, I was researching shadow puppetry in a professional level so that I could show the kids. And I ran into this story, this legend, which is called The Legend of Urashima Taro. It's a very, very beautiful story. And thankfully, in the new book that I was able to get back after the flood, as you guys know, my house was flooded and I lost, I would say 99% of all my books. Only 2 survived. And one of the books that I lost was called Folk Tales from Around the World, Classic Folk Tales from the World. And it took me 5 years to be able to get that book back. It's a real gem. And thankfully, I was able to purchase it as a hardcover. I previously had a soft cover, paperback. It was a gift from a very good friend and storyteller from the States. When she came to Peru, she gave me this book, and I was really surprised because when you guys give me books, it's like, for me, it's like Christmas all over again. So she was able to give me this book, and I didn't know that this story was in there, but thankfully it is. So I was able to reread it before this presentation. And I said in the tweet that it was a moving story, but I will let you guys decide if it is a moving story or what type of story it is. It's definitely one that resonates with me. I don't tell stories that do not reach into me. That's something that a lot of people now know. I have talked about this before. The only stories that I tell are the ones that really reach out to me. I hear many, many tales from very different storytellers. I have heard personal tales. I have heard traditional tales. I have heard cultural tales. But not all of them stick. I appreciate them all, but not all of them resonate with me. And the ones that do, those are the ones that I keep in my heart. I learn them. I I deepen my knowledge of them, and then I share to the world. They may not be of my personal culture. I am multicultural, you could say, born in Peru, raised in Canada, lived in Mexico, stayed for a while in Italy. I am from everywhere. I have heard a lot of things. I have experimented many things. I have met people from literally around the world, from Africa, from Asia, from Australia, from different parts of South America, North America, Central America, but not all of them resonate with me. So it's going to be a very, very good night, and that's it. I really hope you guys enjoy the legend of Urashima Taro. In a world where legends come back to life and magic is in the air, we gather around to listen and delve deep into the lore. This is Unlocking Lore. A long time ago, in the fair country of Japan, there lived a young fisherman. His name, Urashima Taro. Urashima Taro was around 20 years old. He was in his prime shape and the only son of his parents, which is why he worked hard, day in and day out, to catch those fish and feed his family. Now, one day, as he was coming back from his labor, he found a group of boys that were giggling and nagging and laughing, but not in a way that you would say they were having good fun, but more like poking fun. They had sticks with them, and they would grab them and they would hit something that was on the ground. Urashima Taro went, and when he got closer, they saw that the boys were around a huge tortoise, a sea tortoise, that was lying there on the ground, receiving those hits and those kicks from the young men around him. Urashima Taro did not want to see this, for he knew that the sea turtles were magical creatures that would live hundreds of years old. He went up to the boys and asked them, "Why do you do this?" The boys looked around with their mischievous eyes and said, why do we have to answer you? You don't have to say anything. He said, "Give the tortoise to me. These creatures are, they're made to live many years. Why do you torture it?" But the boys looked at him and they said nothing. They continued with their fun. The fisherman decided to go back to his house, grab his week's wages, and go running back to the boys before they left. He extended his arm and said, what if I buy this tortoise from you?" The boys looked around and their eyes opened up like big cherries. But then they were suspicious. "Why do you want to buy this from us? What's your use for it?" Urashima Taro did not want to say anything. He just, "Take it. It's better for you if you take these coins. You can buy things and leave this poor tortoise alone." So the boys quickly snatched the sachet and they left, laughing at the boy's bad luck. Umashira Taro grabbed the tortoise that was very, very heavy and started to carry it down to the sea. And then he pushed the sea turtle into the water until finally it left. Farewell, my good friend, and may you live the many years that you should live. And with that, he turned around and went home. The next day, he was on his boat, nets, to grab the fish that he needed for the day, wondering what he would do because he had used all his money, his week's wages, to save that poor creature. But now his own family was going to pass hardships. What would happen to him? What would happen to them? His parents, in their old age, they depended on him. But he didn't regret it. He didn't regret it because he knew his actions were better than what the future may hold. So while he was tossing his nets, he grew sleepy. He tied them up. He laid down and fast asleep. He was startled by a bump on his boat. Urashima Taro got up and looked around and said, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And all of a sudden, a head poked on the other side of the boat. It was a sea turtle. Its flappy hands put themselves onto the other side of the boat and said, "Thank you." "It speaks," said the fisherman. "Thank you. Thank you for saving me the other day. I wanted to say that, but I was so weak that I wasn't able to utter a single word. But now that you're here, I really wanted to thank you for the kindness that you've shown me in saving my life. And at the same time, I would like to invite you." Urashima Taro was absolutely mind-boggled. It was jaw-dropping, a turtle talking to him. When he came to his senses, said, "Well, no, that's all right. That's fine. Any good lad would have done the same. But invite me where?" said the young fisherman. "Have you ever been to the Dragon King's palace? Come with me. You'll like it there. I would like to invite you to see the glorious sight of such a palace as no human has ever seen. But because of your kindness, the Dragon King has given me permission to invite you." The young fisherman thought for a moment and said, "Well, I have heard of the place. It says it's marvelous, that it's a palace beyond anything that anyone has ever seen. But nobody could locate it. You can take me there." The turtle nodded. "But I can't breathe underwater," said the young fisherman. "Oh, no worries. I can take you there. You will be able to breathe once you grab hold of my shell." So he did. Urashima Taro grabbed on to the turtle's shell, jumped in, and the turtle began to swim further and further and further. They were still on the surface. The young fisherman looked around and saw his boat gliding further and further and further away, until finally the turtle's neck turned around and said, "I'm going down now," and plunged deep into the ocean. And yes, he could breathe. And down and down and down they went. And curiously enough, when Urashima Taro thought that he could not see anything, he started to see light from the bottom of the ocean. A light that grew brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, until finally they reached a certain cliff. And down below was a sight that was never ever seen before by human eyes. Such a palace, such grandeur, such brightness. Amazing. Urashima Taro could not believe his eyes at such a glorious palace filled with jewels, pearls, shells of all colors, such magnificence. And there, by the doorway, stood a person that when both turtle and man came closer and closer, Urashima Taro saw that it was the most beautiful maiden he had ever seen. Skin as jade, hair as dark as black as ink. Looking at her, such beauty before his eyes he had never seen. Who could she be? The turtle went up to the young maiden, and Urashima Taro got off and just stared at her. The young maiden shyly went and said, "Urashima Taro, welcome. Welcome to my father's palace. I am the Dragon King's daughter. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for saving one of my creatures." Urashima Taro turned around and saw the turtle, who grinned from cheek to cheek. "Come inside." And they both went in. And inside the palace was even more wonderful than outside, because inside you could see the 4 seasons pointing to the north, a place where there was pure winter, snow as white as milk. To the east, you could see as if spring was coming up, flowers blooming, the cherry blossoms in their most wonderful splendor, and grass, freshly green grass. To the south of the palace was summer, and you could see how the trees were magnificently green. And to the west, fall, with leaves of all different colors, red, yellow, orange. Amazing. And they walked into the palace until finally they came to the throne room, and there was the Dragon King, smiling, but saying nothing, just a look of gratitude to the young man. The princess turned around and said, Stay for us. Stay with us for a few days. This is our way to say thank you. Oh, Urashima Taro thought, well, this is such an amazing experience. Of course I can stay. And as the days passed, both the princess and the young man started to fall in love. Until finally the princess came one day and said, Urashima Taro, you know what I feel, and I think you feel the same. I have asked permission to my father to marry you. If you agree, you will stay here with us, and you will live a life free of care, free of worries. The young man, who was also very much in love, and such a wedding there was, no place could have possibly have seen it. No place could have possibly been in such splendor. And Urashima Taro was happy. And without knowing, the years started to roll by. Because, as you know, when one person is happy, time flies. And sometimes he would remember his parents, and he said, well, I will wait with my wife just a few more days. A few days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And months turned into years. The princess herself was very happy. Such a kind and loving husband that she had. But she started to notice how, after a time, he started to get sad. And a little more sad, each and passing day, until finally she went to her husband and said, my love, what is wrong? Urashima Taro looked at her and said, I can't hide anything from you. I miss my parents. I haven't seen them in a few years, and I have not been a good son. I have left them alone. I wish to go back, just to see them once, and then I will come back to you. They are my parents. I am their only son, or perhaps I could bring them with me. The princess looked with a heavy heart to her husband and said, you cannot bring them. And do you really want to go see them? The young man said, yes, I do. If just once, and then I will say goodbye and then come to you. With a sad heart, the princess agreed to his request. And the day when he was going to leave came, and finally she came with a casket, a box. She gave it to her husband and said, take this, but don't open it. This will care for you. This will take care of you until you come back to me. I will be waiting. But promise me, you will not open it. Under no circumstances you will open it. Urashima Taro agreed to not open the casket. And with a light heart, he went out of the palace, grabbed hold of the turtle that once brought him to the palace, and up they swam, up and up and up and up until they got to the surface. And then finally, they got to the beach. Urashima Taro turned around, waved the turtle, thank you, and then turned around. But as he was walking back on his homeland of Japan, he noticed that things were different. He looked around and saw houses that were completely different from the huts that he knew. He walked further and further, and the roads, they were completely different. Everything had changed. What had happened? He thought of his parents. What had happened to them? He ran up until finally He found somebody. He stopped the stranger and said, "Excuse me, would you know where Urashima Taro's parents are?" The stranger looked with eyes open so widely, said, "What? Urashima Taro's parents? What, are you crazy? That legend?" "No," said the fisherman. "No, I'm Urashima Taro. I'm looking for my parents. Where are they?" "You?" said the stranger. "You?" "Urashima Taro disappeared over 300 years ago. Even my grandparents told me the story that they didn't even believe in. They said that one day he just, he just disappeared. He went fishing and he never came back." 300 years, he thought. And he left the stranger and he started to search until finally he thought he got to the place where his hut once was. And there was a very strange building. It was no longer his home. His parents had long died, and he was more than 300 years old. Saddened by this, he went back with his casket along to the beach. But he failed to ask how to return to his palace and to his princess. He started to throw rocks, shout, run this way and that on the beach, but no turtle came up. Sadly, he sat down, his casket on his lap. He looked at it. He thought, well, maybe inside there's... No, she said that I shouldn't open it. But what if this is the way to go back? So slowly, he started to open the casket until finally he opened it up. He looked inside, but there was nothing. Nothing except some sort of purple cloudy mist that started to ravel around him as if he didn't want to latch off him, didn't want to let him go, and started to wisp away from him. And he looked out, and all of a sudden he felt wrong. He looked at his hands, and his hands started to wither up. His hair started to turn white. He started to feel weak from a strong lad that he was. He started to feel weak and bent. His knees started to wobble until he finally fell down. He fell onto the beach. He was gasping for air until finally he breathed his last breath. An old man, 300 years old. And when the villagers came and they saw such a thing, they grabbed his things, what was left of his body, and threw it in the ocean, afraid of what had happened. Now, what happened to the princess? We don't know. But what we do know is, when they tell you something, when they tell you not to do something, it's for a reason. Maybe we should open an ear and listen. Well, that is the legend of Urashima Taro. Oh man, I've been having problems with that name, unfortunately. Um, yeah, when you get nervous, it kind of happens. Yes, I think he was too bold in it, and yep, he was too bold. And but an amazing story with an amazing uh, group of people that are in the chat. So I'm sorry that I couldn't uh, attend to your comments during the story. It's really difficult for me. Obviously, I'm not going to do it, but I do come back and say it. So and look at the amazing stuff that you guys put in there. So it's like, oh my gosh, you made this intro. Actually, I did. I made the intro. I downloaded a few copy free stuff, and yeah, you know, I just kind of tweaked some things and came out nice. So, and obviously, OTD is here. Hey, LTD, thank you so much for coming, my good friend. And also, Fletcher Williams is here. I think this is your first time in the Unlocking Lore live. I really hope that you enjoyed the story. Thank you, Tabitha. You guys know that applause is a way to that the audience gives the appreciation. So as an artist, you know, I just, you know, say thank you to the applauses. Yes, it was a touching, sad, and engaging story, which is why I probably shouldn't have tweeted like it's a moving story. It's more like a you know, like a really sad story, but that's the legend, and an amazing story. Because yes, it has the rewards, and you would say, well, he went back to see his parents, but then at the same time, you know what happened, you know, that depends on that's the audience that receives that story and says, well, you know, it's still a beautiful story, or maybe you didn't like it. I don't know. It all depends. So, hey, and Tom is here, kind of lurking, driving home. Drive safely, Tom. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you catch the replay of the story. And yay! Thank you, Ro. As always, thank you so much for for all the cheers and stuff. Thank you, TD. Thank you very much. I once you guys know that I do have a storytelling coach. His name is Tim Shepard. He is an amazing storyteller, even though he doesn't perform anymore. He does he actually does coaching for new entrepreneurs like myself that try to thrive on storytelling, or find the ways that they can thrive or live off of their art. And he once told me that in a performance where it was a Turkish performance, or where there were Turkish professionals, artists, and they were just like, you know, bowing, and the audience was just clapping, and they would come up and they would bow and they would clap, and they would come up and they would bow and then more clapping. He said, like, my hands hurt so much, but we were so happy with the performance that we didn't mind, you know, almost bleeding our hands with clapping. So because he said that's the way that the audience shows their appreciation. I, for one, do not like. I am in that sense. I'm a very shy person. When people actually do clap, as in like real claps, as it that I can hear it, I kind of shy away. It's like, yeah, okay, thank you. You know, that's fine. But when I told this to my coach, he said, no, don't do it. Don't do that, because that's the way the audience shows you their appreciation. That's the way that the audience demonstrates their happiness. So don't shy away from that. So it's kind of hard for me, but yes, I will say thank you. So we are starting off again, new stories from now on. every Thursday if I do not have anything else coming up, hopefully. They kind of pop up like weeds. Not the weeds that you smoke, no, just like the dandelions weeds. You know, stuff keeps popping up without me knowing. So, yeah. Yes, I did hear you actually. It it also came with the meow somewhere, but I did hear a few claps like really far away. Ro, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I have no news except that after the weekend we're going to be having a short break, and then possibly JT and myself will be reviewing a movie. We're not really sure. Rick, as you guys know, he's already sent out a message. Rick is R2 is going to be, he's going to be away for a couple weeks, just taking a short break, a really deserved short break. Mrs. R2, please make sure that it's real. He does need a break, and but we're going to be waiting for him with open arms, and we do have some really good movies coming up that we are going to be reviewing, but we really want to wait for him to come back. So maybe we may do it, we may not. I'm going to be talking with JT after that, and I think that's it. Yeah, no news. It's all like very calm, which is good, because I see that a lot of people have been a little bit burning up. Not only R2 has been feeling tired, but other people that I've been seeing on social media feel that they need a break from all the live streams. Well, Mrs. R2, you just tell R2 that that's the price of fame. I mean, he gets invited to more streams than I do, so that's when you're popular. What can you do? So anyway, thank you so much, everybody. I will be saying good night, because it's literally night where I am. And I will say good morning to you, Sam. I hope you have a wonderful day over there in Dubai. To everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Remember to share, like, and subscribe. And if you guys go up the chat, I did post, my first post here has been the link to Drew's Give Send Go stuff. He's going through a rough time. We're gonna try to help him out, see if we can reach other people. I mean, I'm a very small channel. I'm a very small Twitter account. We do what we can, and we'll see what we can do. Perhaps if you have a friend out there that has a bigger channel that or gets to more people, perhaps you can ask him or her to send a shout out to help out Drew, and see if we can help them through this really tough time. And also, of course, if you want to check out my Teespring store, all the descriptions are down below. You can find the Unlocking Lore shirts, the Unlocking Lore Dark Mode shirts, and you also have the Be bold, but not too bold, lest your heart's blood run cold shirts. So you can go check that out if you want to help out with the channel, or you can perhaps leave a tip. Everything goes to all the stuff that I need to make this podcast and these live streams a lot better. That is in tech and programs and stuff like that. So you can guys. So I will be saying good night, everybody, and most likely, Brightest Day and Drew will probably be having their own live streams, so you can guys go check out there. And I will be saying good night to you all. And I'm out. Bye.